Hi, I'm Tom Marino. At Cone-Resnick, we believe that all citizens need to be informed about the issues that affect their daily lives. That's why we're proud to support the programming produced by Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, working for great public schools for every child. Celgene Corporation, committed to improving the lives of patients worldwide. Wells Fargo Foundation. Barnabas Health, life is better healthy. Health Republic, Insurance of New Jersey. New Jersey Sharing Network, dedicated to saving lives through organ and tissue donation. And by PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Welcome to One-on-One. I'm Steve Adubato, but much more importantly, it is my honor, my pleasure to introduce a giant in the medical industry, someone who has literally saved the lives of many, many people. He is Dr. Leon Smith, consulting physician, infectious disease, Barnabas Health, and founder of the L.G. Smith Infectious Disease Foundation. How you doing, my old friend?
Good to see you, Steve. I'm so proud of you.
Well, no,
what you achieved.
I'm proud of you, and that's why you're here. For those of you who do not know, Leon Smith is considered one of the foremost experts, a trailblazer in the field of infectious disease in this country. And people come to you when they don't know what to do and they can't figure things out. And without disclosing too much, I will just say that you did that for me when I experienced something that I didn't even know existed called MRSA.
Yeah.
And
you remember that?
And I do remember that. And you also did it for our son, Stephen, who's now turning 22 and doing very well when he was a baby, for another thing we didn't even know existed. Yeah. And I will tell you, I know that countless families across this country do that, reach out for you. Leon, when did you become fascinated with the field of infectious disease?
When I was at Georgetown, I didn't have any money, so I worked in a convalescent hospital with children. And I started working with the people at NIH doing research. National
Institutes of Health.
And because of that, I got into NIH as the youngest person to do research. And I got in by working at Children's Convalescent Hospital to go into infectious disease. I was going to go into surgery. I love surgery. I was going to go back to Yonkers and practice surgery. But I got sidetracked by the people at NIH.
A few years ago, 60 Minutes did an amazing special on Leon and his family. Now, there are a couple of other Smiths who are in the field of medicine, am I correct?
Yes. We have 5 of our children are in it. One in infectious disease. I work with him now. Stephen, who you know very well. He's involved with your father's board.
Yes.
And he runs a great AIDS center in East Orange in Newark.
That's right.
A great center. He's one of the leading HIV doctors in the world.
Sure is.
Found a new HIV virus. And so I work for him now and his wife 2 days a week. And I work on a foundation.
Yes. And then there's Leon.
And Leon is OB/GYN.
Yeah, high-risk pregnancies.
High risk. He's #1 in the state.
Yeah, we know him too.
Oh, you do? You know him too?
Trust me, we do.
Is that right?
Yeah, and so, and anyone else?
Well, my daughter, Dr. Blackwood, #1 breast cancer surgeon in the country right now. And then my daughter, Ann, who's a radiologist at Yale. They 2 of them went to Yale, first in their class. And then my son-in-law, Dr. Dennehy. And I've got 3 grandchildren in medical school right now.
Leon, how does that, when that happens, obviously it doesn't happen by accident, but I've known you long enough to know that you didn't push it,
no.
You didn't force it. What is it, do you think, that caused that to happen?
Well, I think the kids saw that I enjoyed it so much. I mean, I enjoyed medicine so much when I was a student and an intern. I used to page myself just to hear Dr. Leon Smith on the page. I mean, that's how much I still enjoy it. I graduated in '56, and I'm going full blast.
Yes.
I mean, I've taken care of popes and kings and presidents and poor people. For 51 years, I took care of the poor people in Newark. I trained more doctors than anybody in the world for infectious disease and internal medicine.
And it's just, that's not bragging, that's just a fact. Let me ask you, the field of infectious disease changed dramatically over the past, I'm just going to say 15 years.
Yes.
Dramatically?
Dramatically.
How so?
Well, first of all, not many people are going into it. Over 100 people did not sign up for fellowship this year. There's not enough money in it. People go where the money is nowadays. It's all about business and money nowadays, and there's not enough infectious diseases. And one of our aims in the Infectious Disease Foundation is to stimulate students to go into it like I did when I got into it. So we give money to Yale, Harvard, Hopkins, Georgetown, New Jersey Medical School.
To encourage people to go into it.
We give them summer clerkships to go into it. Get enthusiastic, exciting. It's an exciting field. There's no new antibiotic. There are MERS coming up from Saudi Arabia, from camels. And there's recurrence now of pertussis in older people. And you got influenza coming down, resistant. And not enough people going into it.
And so what's so interesting is, so years back in the 80s, when the HIV AIDS situation was capturing the world's attention and imagination, it was like, oh, this infectious disease field is exploding. But then people think, oh, well, we got that under control. Well, which is more complicated than that. They really don't, but great strides have been made. But that's not the only infectious disease out there.
Exactly right. It's exactly right. And the new diseases coming up all the time. You talked about MRSA.
MRSA, which is MRSA, which I have this big scar on my leg because
you
of.
still have it? Yeah.
And no, what's interesting is, without going into a lot of detail, people didn't know what was going on with me, and it was a bad situation. And I came to your home, without going into a lot of detail, I came to your home, and you must have looked at it, Leon, and I'm not lying, for 5 seconds, and you said, we have to go now.
Yeah.
That's all you said.
Well, if that got in the bloodstream, you were finished. Because it was a resistant bug. It was a resistant one.
But I remember you said, we have to go now, and I said, why? And you said, let's just go now. And then...
That's his history.
And we were in hospital for a long time. But the point is, that MRSA, is very resistant to certain antibiotics.
Yes.
Talk about the antibiotic situation, not just about MRSA, but about other infections and why there's such a resistance today.
Well, first of all, the drug companies are not making any new antibiotics. There's not enough money in it. It's all about money. The patent is not long enough, so they go into statins and hypertension drugs and that sort of thing, cancer drugs. So they don't go into that field. And in the meantime, because of our antibiotics, misuse of antibiotics, we got resistant. We got a New Delhi strain from India.
Right.
We got MRSA. We've got all the drugs now becoming resistant. We have the Andromeda strain is out there now, and nothing to treat it with.
So go back to the scholarships. The whole idea of the scholarships, the medical school scholarships.
Yes.
Where do you even get the money for that?
Well, I did two things. One, I raised money for my foundation.
Right.
I used my own IRA money to help the kids in Newark.
Your own?
My own IRA to start it. And I got St. George's, instead of taking money and teaching money, I got them to participate and give me a free scholarship. One of the great stories of all time, Mr. Fritsky, 13, he had meningitis, he lost his arms and his legs. He had 13 children. He had a son who wanted to go to medical school. He had no money. I made one phone call to Dr. Charles Modica. I said,
Charles Modica at?
St. George's.
St. George's.
I said, I want this kid to have a scholarship. He said, for you, Leon. If it weren't for you, there'd be no medical school in Grenada today. So he gave him a scholarship. The kid's first in his class.
First in his class.
First in his class. And the kid had no money, a full scholarship, everything.
So your thing is to constantly promote this field.
Yeah.
Constantly promote it. By the way, another way that Dr. Leon Smith promotes the field, and more importantly, the work that not only is being done, but what you need to know is every day with our good friend Joe Piscopo on AM 970 radio. There you see Joe Piscopo with his Yankee hat, so you know he's doing all right. Joe Piscopo, if you do not know this, is heard every day from 6 to 9 a.m. on AM 970 radio. And of course, Leon Smith can be heard doing a medical bulletin, a 90-second medical bulletin on Joe Piscopo, AM 970. You love doing that, right?
I love doing it. It's a pain in the neck to go to New York, though. I can't. I'd rather come here in Patterson.
Yeah, we should figure out how to have you do that. But check out Joe Piscopo's show on AM 970. Joe's good. He's great. He's our friend. But more importantly, you get to listen to Leon. Leon, we love having you here. You are our friend. You are a mentor to so many. And you save lives. And so thank you, Leon.
We have the foundation. People should look at it. 30,000 people look at it a month on the website. We help get people free medication or discounted medication. We get scholarships for students. We get a essay for Governor Burns' name for students.
Brendan Byrne, right?
Yeah, Brendan Byrne.
That's why we had the website up the whole time, Leon.
Yeah. Oh, you do? Great.
Hey, Leon, thank you, buddy.
Thank you very
Stay
much.
right there.
It's a pleasure seeing you.
Same here.
To see more one-on-one programs, visit us online at oneonone.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
That's a talented guy. That's Rob Middleton, professor of music at Caldwell University. That's you playing there, right?
Yeah, that's me.
You don't just teach it, you play it.
Yeah. I try to practice what I preach.
Exactly. When did you get into music?
Well, I got into music as a kid, really. I grew up around music. There was a lot of music around my house. My parents were not professional musicians, but they were very musically involved. My mother played the piano. They sang in the church choir. One of my grandmothers was a music teacher. So I grew up around people not only listening to music on the radio and recordings, but making music. I was involved in school bands. The church we were a part of had a lot of music. My parents sang in the choir, that sort of thing. So I grew up around music. That got me into it.
Why jazz?
Well, when I was a teenager, I first heard jazz and started to play in the high school jazz band, and it really reached out and grabbed me.
Who was it?
Do you mean the
jazz-wise?
The person that first really
Was it Miles
grabbed
Davis?
me? Actually, I think Charlie Parker.
It was Charlie
Yeah,
Parker.
Charlie Parker.
Why did they call him Bird?
Well, not really sure. There are a number of explanations for that. Including
I digress.
the fact that he just flew. he took
But it was
off.
Charlie Parker.
Yeah. I first heard the music of Charlie Parker as a teenager and started to try to play it as a teenager in the high school band, and wow, I said, this is just amazing, this stuff. It's incredible. So that just sort of reached out and grabbed me. It just made me feel alive and energized, and that's just what I wanted to do.
So you become a musician. So where's the teaching part come, and bring it back to Caldwell University? By the way, we should make it clear, we used to do programming with our friends from Caldwell and refer to it as Caldwell College. We can't do that anymore. Caldwell University?
That's right. As of July.
That's
we became Caldwell University. It's a big deal. Yeah.
It changes things on a lot of levels. It provides a whole range of other doctoral programs that are going to be taking place, and expands a whole range of possibilities. Where does being a musician morph into teaching as well as being a musician, the teaching part?
Well, when I first got into the music business, I didn't necessarily intend to teach. It's an opportunity that came my way, and I took it. And I've found that it's fascinating. I really enjoy it. I've gotten pretty good at it. And I think that there's no better way to understand a subject than to teach it. I found that, and I've told that to some of my students who go on to be teachers as well, or if I have people do, say, an oral presentation in a class, and they say, well, I can't really explain it. I said, if you can explain something, you understand it. So every time I'm in front of a class, I'm doing an oral presentation. I'm trying to explain something, and in order to explain something well, I have to understand it better. So teaching has been not only enjoyable to me, satisfying, more work, but also it has helped me understand music at a much deeper level.
Rob, your students, are they all interested in performing music, teaching music? What is it?
Well, I have had a range of students. Some of my private students, some of them not affiliated with Caldwell University, are professional performers who do it part-time at Caldwell University. They do perform. Some of them intend to go on to performing careers, but many of them intend to go on in music as music teachers. And so we teach music. We, of course, teach music skills, performance skills. We want our students to leave as capable performers and to have a background in the theory and history of music and all that sort of thing, be musically literate. But our program presents music in the context of a liberal arts education, which I think is a very important thing.
You told our producers that jazz has this extraordinary ability of bridging a gap in society between the haves and the have-nots. I mean, I love jazz, but I don't understand that.
Well, I think, first of all, to go to what jazz is America's indigenous art music. It happened right here in the United States, and it came about as a confluence of European and African cultural influences here in this country. It is a crown jewel of American culture, and since so much of what makes jazz distinctive is from the African American side, I think we could consider it to be a crown jewel of African American culture. And it has become a profound expression of our American cultural life, and that's something that we all need to know about. One of the things that I see, particularly in young people today, is a real broad inequality between not only economic inequality, but sort of not just haves and have-nots, but knows and know-nots. And at the upper levels of our socioeconomic spectrum, people are generally quite culturally aware, but there's a great deal of cultural illiteracy often at the lower end of the socioeconomic spectrum, and that's one of the things that I would like to help correct, and that's one of the things we do at Caldwell University. We have people from a variety of backgrounds, people from different countries, but people who come from disadvantaged backgrounds, and I feel a special mission to bring our Western culture, the most profound expressions of it, including jazz, to all those people. And I think cultural literacy is a part of a broad liberal arts education, learning how to think flexibly, to communicate, to work on a team, that sort of thing. And that is something that makes our society more equal.
You know, before I let you out here, I'm curious about something. We recently sat down with Christian McBride.
Oh, wow.
Down at Jackie Chicarico, our executive producer, at NJPAC, the New Jersey Performing Arts Center.
Yeah.
Where he,
great
is,
jazz bassist and
yep.
a great exponent of jazz and jazz education.
And that's what it was. And this discussion about jazz education that I had with him, which is making me think about this right now. How much of the teaching of music, more specifically the teaching of jazz, is focused on the teaching of the history of jazz? I mean, how important is it not just to teach about the music of jazz, but the history of jazz?
Well, I think it's very important. You know, to really understand any kind of music, you have to understand the cultural context from which it came. So when I teach jazz, I teach it in different ways. You know, I have students who I'm teaching jazz skills to, particularly, say, the jazz band at Caldwell College, which I run. We're working on the skills of performing jazz. And some cultural context comes into that too, but for example, when I teach jazz history, that is very much about understanding the milieu from which it came, the historical context, how jazz has been a reflection of our society, and the relations between different groups in our society. So it's very much about that. Excuse me?
All that matters.
All that matters, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Rob Middleton, professor of music at Caldwell University. I want to thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You got it. One-on-one will continue right after this. Stay with us. Thank you, Rob.
To see more one-on-one programs, visit us online at oneonone.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We are now joined by Kristine Burns, a second grade teacher at Robeson Elementary School in our state capital, Trenton, New Jersey. Good to see you.
Thank you.
This is part of our Classroom Close-Up series we do in cooperation with our partners at the New Jersey Education Association. You're about to see a video in just a moment or so. Kristine, set this up for us. This is a story that is all about this book,
Yes.
right? The Hedgepeth-Williams story. Fascinating, real quick setup. 10 years before the famous 1954 Brown versus Topeka Board of Education case, which, you know, segregation, not legal in this country. 1944, what happens?
In Trenton, New Jersey, two mothers decided that their African American students had the right to go to any school in Trenton, and they hired an attorney to challenge the Trenton Board of Education. Way back then.
Wow.
The NAACP ended up getting involved. It went all the way to the New Jersey Supreme Court, and that quickly, this started in August of 1943. By January of 1944, the New Jersey Supreme Court already had its ruling, which we know how long court cases can languish. And I really feel, and my students did as well, that because of this fast track, that New Jersey knew something needed to change.
10 years later, it was the Brown versus Board of Education case. In fact, the NAACP was represented by the great Thurgood Marshall at the time, who served on the U.S. Supreme Court. Let's take a look at the piece put together by our great partners at the NJEA in Classroom Close-Up, and we'll come back and talk.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at the clip.
A long time ago, something important happened in Trenton, New Jersey. Two families changed a school and the way people thought.
Mrs. Williams and Mrs. Hedgepeth got a lawyer and sued the Trenton Board of Education. On January 31st, 1944, the New Jersey Supreme Court said it was unlawful for boards of education to exclude children from any public school on the grounds that they are of the Negro race.
Our amazing school was the first to let black kids in, even though Junior 2 was not built for Negroes. That made New Jersey the first state to make public schools to let black kids into any school.
Today, Junior High School No. 2, which once barred African Americans from attending, no longer exists. Sitting alongside Paul Robeson Elementary School, the building that used to be known as Junior 2 is now the home of Hedgepeth-Williams Middle School, renamed to honor the two Trenton mothers whose historic fight against racial discrimination was cited as precedent for the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in the landmark case of Brown versus Board of Education 10 years later. 3 years ago, when these students were in second grade, they researched and wrote a book about the important role their school played in the struggle for civil rights. Now, as fifth graders, they're being recognized for their work, and the book, The Hedgepeth-Williams Story, is being published.
They did this, and because of what they did, this story will be told
over and over
forever, and that's pretty powerful.
It is powerful.
You know, an elementary school student to have created something like that.
Shields and Burns guided the students through the research and writing process for the book. The idea had grown out of the students' interest in Black History Month, the Civil Rights Movement, and the story behind the school's name.
They really made it their own, and they turned it into, you know, such a collaboration. They really did drive us to keep it going, and their interest is really what made all of this come to fruition.
Yes, the momentum that their interest built.
So it made us say, you know what, even 3 years later, we need to see this through.
After it was completed, logistics and budget constraints kept the book from being properly printed until the Trenton Public Education Foundation was able to assist with the publishing and distribution of the book to schools and libraries throughout the state.
You know, I think it's about time that we get it out there, and I think it's been a long time coming.
I walked down these halls of this school and realized that I am walking in history. This is their neighborhood school that they might not think a lot about, but now they know that it really is something that was important to our whole country.
I don't think it gets much better than that. I mean, what were you feeling as you watched that?
Immense pride in my students, the fact that it was so important to them. And interestingly enough, we have a very substantial Spanish population in my school as well. And their first question was, where do we fit in? What would have happened to us? Where would they have made us go to school? And they were very introspective, and they really were, quite frankly, appalled when they turned to the person next to them and said, that means we couldn't go to school together, and we're friends. And it didn't make any sense to them. And they truly, because of their passion, inspired this project. They wanted to take it to the next level.
What has it done for you as an educator?
It has shown me that even second graders have fabulous ideas, maybe even more so than the adults. I myself would have never thought to come up with something like this, and the students said, we really need to let people know how important our school was, why it's named this, and why this is important to all of New Jersey and our whole country. We were first. We did something that is right for everyone. And it may seem, because of their, it may seem very trite in that type of a language, but really it's the big idea, and it's how to treat others and tolerance and things like that. And they really, they enjoyed it, and they were inspiring and impassioned, and they really drove us to see this through.
This book, people are now going to be very curious. They're going to want to find out what they do. By the way, let's put up the website for our partners, if we could, at the NJEA. Now, Classroom Close-Up, they're going to find out more information there as well. People are going to want to get it. What do they do?
Well, the funding was provided by the Trenton Public Education Foundation. They, we did...
For Trenton?
For Trenton, and it is also on ebook copy, which we are attempting to get distributed through the New Jersey Public Librarians Association.
Shouldn't every student be reading this? No?
I absolutely think that it would be my hope that we could perhaps have this be part of the social studies curriculum throughout the state. It's not just a Trenton thing, it is all of New Jersey thing.
I don't want to get political here, because it's not my role, but there are a whole range of core curriculum standards that would require kids to learn. How is it that this is not that?
And I would question the same thing, Steve. I would question.
Someone would have to tell me what's more important than this.
Absolutely. And again, the pride that's instilled, especially in an inner city school, the fact that these children are walking in history and that their school played such an important role in desegregation in our entire country is so important.
Let me just say this real quick, 20 seconds left. I say this to every educator who comes in here with our partners at the NJEA and Classroom Close-Up. Kristine Burns, you are a credit to your profession, and more importantly, on behalf of those of us who have kids in public schools, thank you for everything you do for our children. Thank you very much.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Celgene Corporation, Wells Fargo Foundation, Barnabas Health, Health Republic, Insurance of New Jersey, New Jersey Sharing Network, and by PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. Promotional support provided by The Record, North Jersey's trusted source, and NorthJersey.com, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and its monthly magazine, New Jersey Business. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
Hi, I'm Peter Rooney. In 2006, I lost my father to renal disease. He was on the waiting list for a new kidney, but did not receive one in time. Unfortunately, so many like my father have lost their lives while waiting for a life-saving organ. At New Jersey Sharing Network, we're committed to saving and enhancing people's lives through organ and tissue donation and by informing people about this important decision, because you can make a difference and save a life.